Hey guys, Perplexive Worm here, and I am back today with another discussion video in regards to Destiny 2, and specifically Strand, or not specifically Strand, but Strand. Now, I watched the intro to Strand. I watched all the trailer. I read the articles, stuff like that, and Strand looks awesome. It looks like it's a lot of fun. They talked about high actions per minutes and stuff like that. I'm very excited to play with Strand. I think it's going to be fresh for Destiny 2. Hopefully not too OP in the Crucible. But anyways, however, there was one concerning thing I noticed. And then I got on the forums and got on the internet and started seeing a lot of other people feel the same way about this. And that is specifically the Titan Super and the fact that it feels like it is recycled from other supers. So Titans, of course, historically have been known for their melee-based supers, things like Fist of Havoc, things like Burning Maul, Sentinel Shield, stuff like that. Plus, their melee is literally punching things with their fists or shoulder bashing, of course, as well. But a lot of Titan mains are very disappointed by the description of the super. I'm not gonna say the look of the super because we haven't got a truly in-depth look at it, but they're disheartened, upset, whatever you want to call it, by the fact that the super seems very similar to other supers. And so I kind of wanted to talk about that today and beg the question, is Bungie recycling supers? And I know that's kind of a hot take, but if you think about it, let's go outside of the Titan class for a second. Gathering Storm, you throw it, it leaves a damaging field of wake behind it. That to me sounds like Vortex Nova Bomb. Like almost exactly. You throw it and it leaves a damaging field behind it. Or Spectral Blades and Fist of Havoc. Spectral Blades, yeah, you can turn invis, but you have a light attack and you have a heavy attack. Light attack can kill, one or two enemies at a time. Heavy attack kills a bunch of enemies at a time. Fist of Havoc, same principle. You got your regular light attack shoulder charge, kill an enemy. Heavy attack, this area of effect. And they all have subtle differences, of course, but they're very similar. Burning Maul and Nova Warp is another one. Burning Maul, you run around with a hammer, you can hit your what's it called? Attack with it. You deal kind of an area of effect style damage, just like Nova Warp. So I wanted to again bring to light the idea of recycled supers. And I think there's something very important to recognize when we talk about this, and that is the fact that there's only a certain amount of supers that Bungie can make that feel unique. Okay? These, and they boil down to you throw something or shoot something. Okay, and I know people say, oh, well, Golden Gun doesn't feel the same as throwing a Sentinel Shield, but if you look at it, it's both a projectile based, attack, and then there's the melee based attacks. Okay, then of course there's big damage one and done supers. Blade Barrage, Thunder Crash. But literally the only difference between Blade Barrage and Thunder Crash is Blade Barrage can have more spread, I should say, not has more spread, but it can have more spread. And Thunder Crash, you actually have to throw your body straight into the enemies. But I think there's only a certain amount of supers that Bungie can make out of these, and every super that they add is going to be just a slight tweak, elemental, design wise, stuff like that, from old supers. So I don't think that we should go out and criticize Bungie so harshly on the fact that they're working with a limited pool. Right, quite frankly, they're working with a limited pool of designs to work their super off of. So yeah, I mean, think about it. I think that probably the newest super that we have is the Warlock Strand, where it sends out the little seekers that go and attack. But at the same time, that's kind of Blade Barrage, is it not? I mean, it's done a little differently, I know, but it's Blade Barrage. You throw Blade Barrage, the knives go and seek enemies. Maybe not to the same tracking degree, but they're very similar. And I think that this is, it's not any fault of Bungie's that this happens. It's just they're that's what they're working with. Um, However, I think there are some changes that could potentially happen in terms of adding new supers and stuff to make them feel a little bit different. And the primary way of going about that is through supportive supers. Now, I know a lot of people might say, oh, well, Well of Radiance, you heal and deal more damage. Bubble, you have basically infinite health. No, it's not technically infinite, but basically infinite health, and you deal more damage. What else could you add? But I think that Bungie could tier up supers, add new tiers of supers, like, more tier 5, tier 6, all the way to tier 10 supers that have certain cooldowns. Imagine a Warlock super that cools down in, at tier 10 intellect, mind you, in like a minute and a half, but allows you to pick up any dead teammates, just right then and there. You're doing a raid, all your team wipes, whether there's tokens or not, activate it, and it brings them all back from the dead. That would be really, really cool. That's unlike anything we've had in the game before. But Bungie, they like the idea of adding more offensive supers. That's why we've got things that feel similar to other supers. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what there is to be said about that. Sorry if y'all can hear something behind. My cat is locked out and she's not happy about it. Now, the one thing that I will say about this whole situation is that it's good that players are upset. Upset players means that players like the game and they want to see it be better. Okay, and that's noble. I'm one of those people. Like, I like to make, I've made rant videos and stuff like that in the past talking about issues in Destiny. So I think it's important that people make these videos and talk on forums about this stuff, because it gives Bungie an idea of what not to add, like what to not what not to make in the future, but it gives them different ideas on what players are feeling like. I do think that I would encourage players not to be frustrated or mad when supers are so similar. And that's kind of the chocolate cake of this whole situation. That's the cherry of this situation. It's inevitable that supers are going to be similar. Okay, it's inevitable that grenades are going to be similar. I mean, look at Solar Grenade and Vortex Grenade. They're the same grenade, just different elemental damage. So, yep. Now, this is not a video that's specifically designed at defending Bungie, and their limited number of supers that they can make, because I think that where Bungie has really gone wrong with their supers is the fact that, you can see it in the fact that we have one specific class that's upset about their super. One specific class, okay? And that is Titan. And the reason why is because Titan seems to get all these supers that deal in melee damage. And I know not every super, but many supers deal in melee damage. Fist of Havoc, Burning Maul, Sentinel Shield. Yes, you have the ability to throw in Sentinel Shield, throw a shield, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's a melee based super. And so adding another melee based super where you essentially, throw your enemies into Strand and then punch the heck out of things. Maybe you punch faster than normal, but I think this was a big mistake on Bungie's end, because they shouldn't have given Titans yet another melee subclass. Okay, they should have really switched up the fold here, given maybe Warlocks have this melee base, or Hunters. And I know somebody's gonna say, oh well, Hunters have Spectral Blades, but Hunters have Arc Staff, yeah. And yes, that's true, but then again, Titans, Hunters, I don't know when the last time I saw a Hunter using Spectral Blades was. I don't really know when the last time I saw a Hunter using Arc Staff was. Hunters use Blade Barrage, they use Gathering Storm, they use the Tether. The Tether is probably the most popular. They use Stasis and the Revenant super. So I don't see, correction. Hunters have many options to choose from. Titans, you've got Bubble, but if it's not really a defensive style of, combat, you've got Sentinel Shield if you want to play Void. You can either throw hammers or you can, spin around a big hammer, throw like smash a hammer into the ground. You can either turn your body into a missile or you can, smash the ground. A behemoth, behemoth, you smash the ground and make crystals. It's all about smashing, and then you melee them. That's another thing. Behemoth and Fist of Havoc are so very similar. So I think it's, shame on Bungie for making the Titan Strand subclass so similar to other Titan subclasses. And of course, this is subject to change. We don't know. We may get 2 or 3 different supers within the subclass that we just don't know about yet. I think that'd be fantastic. In our light-based subclasses, we have, Fist of Havoc and Thunder Crash. We got 2 different supers. We might see Bungie add multiple supers, and they're just keeping the other ones on the down low. We don't know. And of course, I think it's important to not criticize it too heavily just yet, because we don't know how the super is going to feel. Is it going to feel like Fist of Havoc, or is it going to feel like, Spectral Blades, or even faster than Spectral Blades, where you just tear up the battlefield, with your fists, your heavy attack, stuff like that. And it does feel fundamentally different, because that's the important thing to remember, is that yes, even though all these subclasses have similar supers because, oh, well, it's melee and this, the important thing to remember is that they all feel unique in their own special way. And I think Strand will ultimately feel special in its own unique way. The melee attack being faster, and ramping up speed is going to make it feel unique. And I think that's important for all players to understand. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Bungie's on the new Strand, and my thoughts on Bungie recycling supers. I don't think that they're hard recycling, but I think that they're limited on the number of supers that they can add without adding more supportive supers. Okay, so that being said, I'm out of here. Y'all take care of yourselves, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye for now.